NF to order. It is 3:01. Shammy, would you do the invocation, please?
Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for bringing us here as a group, and please bless the ones who weren't able to make it. Help us make good decisions that always benefit the Cherokee Nation. In your name we pray. Amen.
All right, roll call, Shelley.
Yes, ma'am. Denise Taylor.
Here.
Keith Austin. Here. Ariel England.
Honey.
Harley Buzzard. Here. Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden. Mike Dobbins. Frankie Hargis. Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan. Dick Lay.
Honey.
Matt Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw.
Honey.
Theo Smith. Victoria Vasquez. David Walkenstick.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
So you have a quorum.
All righty. I would entertain a motion to approve the May 31 minutes.
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second for minutes approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, brings us down to reports, and I saw Sean Slayton here.
I'll go 100 feet on.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Sean.
Reporting on April and May financially. We had a fantastic April, $16 million in net income, about $3 million favorable to budget, and almost $4 million higher than last year. Year to date, we're rocking along $8 to $9 million better than we were last year. So compliments to all of our employees for the hard work that they're doing. Diversified businesses and gaming are just having great years all together. We own our projects. You drive by and see Tahlequah going up. We're excited about the progress that's going there. Hopefully next month, or actually at the August Executive Finance Committee meeting, I'll have one more, I would hate to say client, but one more group that's coming, that we can announce, that's coming into the plaza. Last month we announced Nukes. Very excited for them. They'll anchor our new retail center that's getting ready to start there back behind Buffalo Wild Wings and in that area. And we're excited about them coming on board. They are, if you've ever been to McAllister's Deli, something like that, this is an offshoot of them. I may have mentioned that before, but they have good food. Eating at the one in Rogers, Bentonville area, and I think it'll be something, a nice amenity for Tahlequah. So we're moving forward in the casino with our plans to open a steakhouse. It'll be similar to the one in West Siloam, and we're looking forward to being able to serve the community with a high-quality offering there as well. Hard Rock is coming along very well. We've torn the sprung down, the foundation's going up, and I think you'll see steel being erected here within the next 30 to 45 days. Our timeline for that is about March 1st, I think, opening that one. Along with that, we will be redoing the face of the hotel and casinos there, along with that, to match the new, what we call Casino 4 replacement. We feel like the exterior's been there for a long time. If you drive by it, it kind of looks tired and dated. We have a lot of new offerings in the Tulsa market, and so we're not going to get behind on what our presentation is to the customer there, to the gaming customer. So we're excited about seeing that. I saw the previews this morning of what that will look like. I think it's a major upgrade, and I think it's something the Cherokee people will be proud of whenever that's completed. So that's pretty much what I had to say this afternoon, but I'll certainly be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I have a comment. As we get this project completed there, here in Tahlequah, our casino, and I assume a restaurant's going to go in there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you would, we've had a lease these leasees, restaurant in Cherokees, and I think we've had this discussion before for probably 19 years. They've been very, very loyal, and they've done a good job hiring our people, and it's a place for our Cherokees to go.
Yeah.
When these new amenities come in, like the restaurant, they may have a difficult time. They do well right now. Sundays after church, you can't even get a table there.
Right.
But when something similar comes in, they're going to suffer. They're going to need some help. They're going to need some help. You can't just stay the same way all the time. They're going to need some help of how do we improve, how do we stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
If you're not moving forward, you're getting behind in the competition that we're in.
Well, certainly, the Johnsons have been great to Tahlequah and to the Cherokee people and all of our employees. I try not to miss a meal there when I can get by there.
Yeah.
And we do everything we can to support
You do.
support them.
Yes, you do.
I think the offering that's out there is not going to be similar to what they can do in the restaurant. You just can't be home cooking like they can do it. So we'll keep that in mind as we make selections.
Okay, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you anticipate that steakhouse being open at lunch too, or is it just gonna be at night, or have you even crossed that bridge?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't asked that question. There's a cafe in there besides the steakhouse, so there will be the food offering there.
Does anybody else have anything for Sean?
Thank you.
Sounds to me like you've figured out what it takes to get our bottom line up, so keep,
Our people
whatever
are-
you're doing, keep it up.
Our people are doing well.
They are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
All right, Lacey, what you got?
Well, good news as usual. And in a moment, I'd like to invite Joel Hauser, our lead auditor, to discuss the audit. But first, I want to make an announcement. We have a warehouse surplus list that we sent to Gail earlier this week, and we need requests for contributions of those surplus items to local organizations through Gail by July 27th, so that we can have the resolutions drafted up for the August Executive and Finance Committee meeting. Any questions about that?
A motion for what?
Surplus.
Surplus item?
Surplus.
You need a
Now, wait a
motion?
minute. She
I
said
don't.
that
I'm just
she
making an
issued a
announcement.
list.
I was just making.
That's all.
No, there is a
Just
list.
making an
There's
announcement.
an Excel file.
Gail?
Gail has it. And
Does Gail have an announcement?
No, I said I'm getting ready to mail it out,
Yeah.
but a lot of you want it printed, so I was gonna wait and see who wanted it printed. Everybody. Okay.
It's kind of like the Sears catalog, we're just gonna shop.
so
Shop
Gail's the
out.
referee, and I think she kind of handles it on a first come, first served basis. So appreciate you sending your request to her. So if
Hey, you wanna
Madam
talk
Chair,
about the audit?
yeah. So I'd like to introduce Joel Hauser. You've seen him before. He's our lead auditor with BKD, and you have in front of you the single audit. So this is our federally required audit for the federal funds that the Cherokee Nation receives, and so it's in front of you. Take a look at that. Very clean report, and obviously the comprehensive annual financial report was posted at the end of March online, so that also had a clean report. So
Basically, this is for Cherokee Nation only.
Cherokee Nation only. This, yes, for entities that receive more than $750,000 of federal funds, a single audit that conforms with OMB guidance is required.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'll take over, and thank you for allowing me to be here to present the single audit report. I was going to start with the CAFR, which I know comes out at the end of March. And I want to,
It's the blue
blue
book.
book.
You guys all got this.
the big one, and I wanted to just make a couple comments. Putting this together takes a great deal amount of time and resources in the Financial Resources Department, and I believe the Cherokee Nation is one of only 3 tribal governments that actually compile this. comprehensive.
Hang on just a minute. Lacey, we got that some months ago.
You got that back in March, yeah. It would have been,
Yeah.
yeah,
It would have been back in March.
and it's online.
But the whole process, we start in January and we don't end until the end of May. And I want to congratulate you guys for putting this together because it is a lot of work and it's optional, but it's a great deal of information that really helps in bond ratings especially. But as Lacey said, we just recently issued the single audit report, which is the compliance of federal awards that the nation gets. Nation receives about $350 million in federal awards. We go through a process to pick major programs, and we test compliance with those. I believe we had 5 programs this year that we tested, and we have no findings to report that are required to report it in the financial packet to you. There were some minor deficiencies. Those are not required to be reported in here, and those have been communicated to management. But overall, it was a very clean report, and I appreciate Lacey and her staff of getting everything together and getting this issued on time. So with that, I will be happy to try to answer any questions that anybody may have about specific issues or just questions in general.
You did good.
Okay. Nobody has any questions? And if you do, since you just received this today, Lacey will always take questions at any time. So as you look through it, I never find anything that causes me any heartburn, but if you do, she's available to answer any questions.
Absolutely. And I just want to take this time to thank the program staff out in the Cherokee Nation departments who are administering these services and keeping the documentation necessary to keep us in compliance with these federal awards, as well as the budget preparers and the accountants in the departments, and of course all of financial resources. It takes a lot of people to keep the nation on the right track financially, and I'm very appreciative for all their efforts.
Councilor Shambaugh?
I haven't had time to look over this, but I'll just ask you,
Yes,
so how are things?
really good.
Things come out very well then?
This is a fantastically clean audit, and I know Joel sees a lot of tribal and other governmental clients, and so I guess you can probably give him a ranking sort of where we're in.
Yeah, this would be on the top end. Typically, we have findings. It's the larger tribal governments, not so many, but there typically are findings related to this report, so it is a really good report.
Thank you.
Very clean.
Anybody else have anything? Okay. If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, are there any questions unrelated to the audit for Lacey? Okay, getting off easy today.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lacey. Okay, Diane, are you still here? Or here again?
It's hard to see me. You received my report, and the first of it told you a little bit about the TANF and where we were. We did meet with the Creek Nation, and we're working out the jurisdictional boundaries in Muskogee and Tulsa. The Washington DC office has our information, and they're looking at it logistically. Once they get that worked out, it'll go to the Dallas region, and then from there it'll go to the state. Then the state will notify us, and then we'll start working on the numbers and where we're at. We will be adding staff on, and we will be looking at where those pockets of people are sitting, because we may have to rearrange some places. We may have to add an office or two. Our summer youth program will be winding down in about 3 weeks. We have our summer interns that are going out to North Carolina. They'll leave July the 6th, return on the 13th. But there is some discussion about them maybe staying over for your all's council meeting that you're going to have out there that weekend. Or there's something going on that weekend. Maybe it's not a council meeting, there's something, and they may stay over an extra day for that. Do you know what that is, Speaker?
I think it's tarot.
You think it's tarot?
You don't know about it?
No, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't know, that there is some
At the end of
meeting.
July, I think there's a tarot they're hosting.
Is it?
That's one. There's probably other things, but I'm for sure it's tarot.
Okay, well, there was something that was going on out there, and they may stay over for one more day just to see how it goes. We'll see. I didn't know that. Thank you. See, we don't know everything.
But I sure don't.
And then We've had several job fairs. The staff have been working job fairs. I know Councilwoman Taylor called us about the job fair prior that we had for one of the corporations up there. We've done one for Adair County, the Swans Corporation. And in fact, they were so glad about it, they came and gave us pie as a result of the, brought us a piece of pie, so we were appreciative of that. Amazon's coming to Tulsa. We worked real hard on that, and we're real excited about that. That'll be similar to our Macy's project. It's gonna be a big project, but 1,500 people, and we'll be helping to recruit for that. And then we got a email this morning from the city of Sallisaw, from Buddy Spencer with the Economic Development Board. We've been working with Avagen down there in Sallisaw, and it's coming to Sallisaw, EO. And so we're excited about that, Brian. So we'll be meeting with them in the next few weeks on that. So we've got a lot of businesses going on out in the outlining areas. One of the things that we're planning to do during the week of the Cherokee holiday, we have a lot of people that come into town, and we're gonna set up here in the complex throughout that whole week, and we're gonna have, we're gonna get information out on Facebook, out through the news media, that we will be taking information, resumes for our new health facility, working with the health department on that, so that we can have a lot of people that are interested in working for us in the health field. And then we're also gonna be looking at some of these other businesses that we're working with to try to help them with their need for workers as well. So we're excited. There is an opportunity for my staff to go over and visit the Economic Development District in the Four Corners of Bentonville, Fayetteville, Rogers, and Springdale. That's the four counties that was formed by Hunt, Walton, and Tyson. And they meet every quarter, and we've been invited to send a team over. And then Fort Smith has invited us down to another event that's gonna be business related, so I've got a team going down there as well. They're looking to network with us here on Northeast Oklahoma, which is in the Cherokee Nation, because they're needing workers, and they're needing skilled workers in the health field as well as some of the manufacturing areas. So we're kind of branching out and going into that direction, so. I'll send more information as we do this.
Will you send that information to?
Sure, be glad to.
Counselor Shaw, Diane actually, the fire dancers actually fall under her shop. Did you have some questions about that?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Oh, yes, Keith?
I had the pleasure of attending a event in Claremore at Pelco's a few weeks ago. It was, your group was very well represented there.
Thank you.
It was a joint training between NPC, Pelco, and Career Services. And it's an exciting program you're working on with them. They're very excited about it. And these young people are ecstatically excited about it. They are, several of them are people who are coming through the reentry program. And they are just ecstatic that their tribe believes in them enough to help them to find this career opportunity. We had great conversations with those people.
Great.
And I really appreciate you guys investing in those people.
Thank you. We just had an earlier discussion about the reentry program, Councilwoman Taylor and I did, about adding a component to our business banquet that we have in September, October, about recognizing a reentry business that has went out of their way to hire our clients. So that's something that she had brought up, and we're gonna look at doing that this next year.
If that needed a second, I would be that second.
Okay, all right.
Council Warner with third.
Okay, great. So it'll be on the agenda for this upcoming banquet.
Okay. If there's no other questions for Diane, we'll let her cut her loose.
Thank you all very much.
All right, I understand Stephen is here for Commerce. Stephen Hires.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Anna Sintra regrets that she wasn't able to be here this month, but she will be with you in the future. She sent the report for June, and so I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. If I can't answer them, I'm happy to take them back to Anna to do that. I would say that she has revamped the report, so you might have seen it's a little different. I think she combined 2 reports into one. A highlight that I would highlight is on the second page. We were really interested to see what our lending dollars were leveraging with private dollars throughout the 14 counties. And so we did that, and at the bottom of the second page, you can see that with our loan fund from 2015 to 2018, there have been $8.3 million in private investment to go on with what our loan fund has done. And altogether, that has spurred $16.7 million in the 14 counties in the last 3 years, directly working with small businesses. You know, everybody loves the big box, and when you can land the good one to bring the jobs in, we love it. But we firmly believe in commerce that small businesses are the heart and soul, especially of our rural communities and our Cherokee communities. And so we're proud to say that that is happening within the 14 counties. Any other questions?
Well, I think the thing that I appreciate about all of your programs is you don't just give them the money, you give them the tools to ensure that they're successful. And I
Absolutely.
think that's the secret. A lot of people think they want to go in business for themselves, but they don't have a clue what it actually entails. And you kind of bring them to reality and give them some training wheels. So.
Absolutely. We try to follow up and continue working with our clients, and you really see that. You know, at the end of the year, you'll see the charge-off report, and, you know, our charge-offs for CDFIs that are working with businesses that we're typically working with, you know, those that can't go to a traditional lending institution and get a loan. The charge-off rate is typically around 4%, and ours last year was, for our commercial, was 0.21%. So you can really see that going the extra mile and working with the business and continuing to stay in there and offer them the technical assistance really does help. And so thank you very much for
And I
saying
didn't
that.
realize that you visited all of the loan clients every year until I
Yep.
saw it in this report here. That's-
Every year, we
that's
get to all of them, at least once. Some
Okay,
of them
anybody else
multiple.
have any questions? Go ahead, Councilor Workingstick.
Thank you. Can you give Anna Knight and see if she can respond to the young lady that was named to do a transfer on her mortgage assistance?
Mhm.
She had a mortgage assistance program. She got awarded. She's wanting to move to a different location. It was practice before the policies were amended here recently. And anyway, so she was needing a waiver of policy or something by the chief or something.
Sure, absolutely.
If you would, have her get back to that young lady.
Sure, absolutely. I know that I've been in a small portion of that conversation, and so I know that they're working through the process to find a resolution that can solve all
Can you
parties.
respond back to her and say you guys are working on it or something?
Sure, absolutely.
All right,
Mhm.
thank you. Thank you.
Councilor Austin.
Yes, I wanted to share an encounter I had about 2 weeks ago. I was in the post office, finally. This lady approaches me that I didn't recognize, but she knew who I was. And she said, I want to tell you that Cherokee Nation is the only reason why I was able to raise my kids. And I said, would you tell me more? And she said, 10 years ago when I came to Claremore, Oklahoma, after an abusive marriage, I got a mortgage with the assistance of our MAP program. And she said, within 2 months or 3, I will be free and clear through my 10-year period there. And she said that 10 years I was able to raise my babies in a good home because of Cherokee Nation. That really meant a lot to me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
All about.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And as you run across those, if you'll share those with Anna and Shay, you know, those are stories we'd love to be able to capture and to be able to, you know, take back to the agencies and the funding agencies that are funding those programs, so we can show the impact that these programs are making.
There was another component to that story, was it helped her get out of an abusive marriage.
Yeah,
That's not part of what we said, but that's an important thing. People have tools when they encounter those things in life.
Sure. We sometimes forget that, you know, one piece of the puzzle is actually, you know, that what we do is just one piece of the puzzle that's a much bigger picture out there. And so,
Councilor Buzzard.
On the next page, this is talking about the U.S. Opportunity Zone Act for 2018.
Mhm.
Just tell us a little bit about that, and then I have questions about the numbers below that.
Sure. So those are opportunity zones. and so that square there kind of tells you a little bit about the U.S. Opportunity Zones. What those are the census tracts within the Cherokee Nation that have been labeled an opportunity zone. And we didn't notice till after that. We think that in the formatting, we changed the font from the creation to looking at it to submitting it, and so some of those census tracts were cut off. And so I'll make a note of that to have
What's the numbers
rest of it.
represent, like Delaware County, 3,760?
That's the census tract. So each census tract is labeled.
That's a tract.
Right, and so we think when they changed some fonts that it messed up
Oh, okay.
the way those census tracts are labeled. Because you see, then Cherokee County doesn't have one, and so that was on a spreadsheet. It must have, I don't know what it did, but it messed up. So we will definitely make that correction and let you all know exactly what those census tracts are.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Stephen? He's doing so well. Okay, those
Thank
were
you
the
all very much.
questions. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on down to our consent items, and the first thing are the tarot certifications. Rex.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the tarot businesses certification and renewals. All those in favor? Any opposition? Okay, the community assistance that's in the book, is that one correct, Jody?
There's a handout, and I have
We have a new one.
one correction to make. On Mr. Lade, there's $500 that should have been on Council Lady Harkles for $500. Mr. Lade, you want to just hang on to that 500? Because I know you were zeroed out, but,
I better, I'll be in the red.
okay.
Denise doesn't allow that.
And also, Council Lady Hargis emailed one in for $1,000 for New Life Church. It needs to be added to this list.
Make a motion.
Second.
Oh, wait a minute, Council Buggy.
Jody, I need you to, I probably did it on my, I mean, it was $1,600 for the city of Jag.
Yes.
That only needs to be $1,000.
Okay,
If you could make that change on it.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, could you guys remake your motions, please?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve community assistance per the hand, excuse me?
I got one more. Can I get $200 to Dry Creek Community Building, split between Joe Bird and myself?
Okay, Councilor Shambaugh would like to speak to you.
Harley, what did we, what were we gonna split? Is that, should I need to put my part on this right now?
Yeah, it was $500 to, think it was Delaware County
Community Partnership.
Delaware County Community Partnership Industry, 500 for my.
I'd like that 500 for me.
500 for me.
Okay.
Just say, Sean.
Jody,
Yeah.
I'll let you finish there.
Okay.
500 to Beaver Baptist Church. Hope that balance is good on there. Don't let me get in the red now.
We'll have $14.99 left.
Hey, is everybody good now?
Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen? Councilor Lake,
Yes, ma'am.
do I have my motion again?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the community assistance with the changes. All those in favor? Any opposition? That brings us to law enforcement.
Do have a new list handed out.
Look it over and I'll take a motion when you guys are ready.
I'll make a motion to approve law enforcement funds.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, look at your roads applications. If there are no changes, do you have a change, Councilor Warner?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second for the roads. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Make a motion to turn the AC on.
Can we appropriate some funding for that? Okay, looks like there were a couple of additions to the sports teams. Brian, why don't you take those, since it looks like they're probably yours.
We got four.
They might be juniors,
It's in the
I don't know.
It's what's in, it's what's in the book.
Oh, what's in the book?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve 14.
Second.
I got a motion and a second on sports teams. All those in favor?
Aye.
And livestock?
I'll make a motion to approve livestock on the new list.
Second.
Is there, okay, handout. Motion and a
One
second.
addition.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Jody, on the city library, that's 3 ways. You can correct that later. $1,000.
Hey, Jody,
Which one?
it's $250 for me and Rex and $500 for Joe.
Did you hear me? I said 3 ways.
I think it's just 100 for Rex.
Got it? Okay, we're good.
Okay, that brings us down to new business. Councilor Warner, you want to take number 1?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. This is a resolution authorizing the submission of a special grant application for an economic development feasibility study in FY19. I put that in form of a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, guess there's no discussion there. Brings us down to the budget modifications. Keith, would you get us started, please?
Certainly, this is an act amending Legislative Act 25-17, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2018, Mod 5, and declaring an emergency, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for the capital budget modification. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, brings us down to the operating budget. Rex, are you
Yes.
there?
An act amending legislative Act 26-17 authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2018, Mod 10, and declaring an emergency, and put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second by acclamation. All those in favor? Any opposition? Yes, sir.
I looked at this and can I have Jody to go over this budget for us?
Sure, he'd be glad to do that. Okay, will this be your memo, Jody? Is that what we're gonna work off of?
Yes.
Okay. So that's page, it's a memo, page 7. Looks like this. You wanna follow
Item
along?
1 is for cultural resources, and that's for $14,390 for the purchase of the bikes, and that's from a donation that was made from CNB. Item 2, cultural outreach, and that's a $100 increase, and that's for a donation that came in, so pretty minor change there. Item 3 is a Cherokee Charter School. It's an increase of $500 based upon a cash donation that came in. Item 4 is Cherokee National Youth Choir, and that's a $12,139 increase for half of the choir to travel to Cherokee Days in DC, and that was based on funding that came in, donation from CNB. Item 5 is a cash match for grants. It's a decrease in expenditure authorization of $75,000 by reducing this amount. That's going to make the funding available for the item, and item 7 for human services emergency assistance.
Item 6, community water and sewer modification. That's questioning a change in expenditure authorization. It's going to be a transfer out of $296,000 to environmental health service projects. In item 24, the expenditure total will remain the same. It's just changing it from an expenditure to a transfer out. Item 7, human services emergency assistance. It's increase in expenditure authorization of $75,000 for direct client services and emergency assistance. And again, that funding is provided by reducing the reserve for the grants. New expenditure total is $250,750. Item 8, Supreme Court modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $11,020. It's the incorporating funds received from the Cherokee Nation Bar Association annual dues. The new expenditure total is $615,141. Item 9, District Court modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $13,000 based on the revised estimate of other income from filing fees. The new expenditure totals $478,000. Item 10, Tribal Leases Realty. It's requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $191,660, and that's based on revenue coming in from the right-of-way easement renewal from Phillips 66. New expenditure totals $316,660. Item 11, land development, land ops modification, requesting an increase in expenditure authorization $69,916 based on increased property rental and other income. Item 12, self-governance general assistance. It's increase in expenditure authorization of $388,958 for client services based on an estimate to get them through the fiscal year, and that funding is provided by DOI self-governance carryover. Item 13, Public Law 102-477 career services. It's modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $8,229 based on additional grant funds received. New expenditure total is $5.6 million. Items, and I don't know if you want me to go through all these health ones.
Those are from third-party collections.
Well, yeah, there's carryover, we did real well last year compared to what was kind of budgeted, so we have carryover, and they're also adjusting all the third-party incomes based on the trends that we're doing real well on. As you know, most of these health budgets, like most of all of our budgets, have remained flat last several years, and there's adjusting supplies and, just kind of various operating expenses to get them back in line with just increased costs and stuff. So
And I think I understand the one from the revenue from the clinic. I think more important was, Jody, that you do a lot of work to explain it to the tribal council, and I was a little bit shocked when I saw the $29 million.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of them in there this month. They had
And
to
I appreciate you and appreciate Lacey for bringing this to our attention, because this money that we're talking about, it belongs to the people, the Cherokee people out there, and they really need to know where this money is going and what we're doing with it. And that's the reason I asked you to do the report.
Okay.
So I appreciate your work and appreciate your work too, Lacey.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I can make one note on the health budgets as well. You'll also see in there, and you just passed the capital mod, but $8 million is going into a reserve account for future equipment needs in Hastings. So anyway, an $8 million chunk of that is related. Thank you.
We're good? Okay, Shelley said we have that, so just for good measure, by acclamation, let's vote on that budget mod. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? All right, our Next meeting is scheduled for July 10th at 12:30. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment? Aye. Anybody who wants to stay?